Hi, welcome to Vicky Makes and Builds. Okay, I've got another biggie for you today. I'm going to do this puzzle for you. This one here. This will be my very first 5,000 piece puzzle build, and it is called Artistic Mickey by Ravensburger. It's been sitting up on my shelf for a wee bit now and just beckoning me to build it. And I haven't done a Disney puzzle in a wee while, and so I just decided to go for it. Now, it's a lot of pieces, but I do love large piece count puzzles, as you know, so I'm really looking forward to getting this one started. So the image is fairly busy, as most Disney images are. We can see lots and lots of Disney characters here, mostly from perhaps some of the older Disney movies, things like Dumbo and Peter Pan and Snow White, and there's no villains on here at all. So it's just a really happy image, and you've got Mickey over there who's painting a mini sort of picture of the image itself. So you can actually see the little painting that he's doing just there. So it's really fun and vibrant, and I just think it's going to be a lot of fun to put together. So without further ado, let's get building Artistic Mickey. Enjoy! Right, I cannot wait to open the box on this one. I've actually already taken the cellophane off it because it's been sitting on my shelf for a little while and the cellophane was reflecting off my lights when I was recording, so I took the cellophane off, but I haven't opened the pieces yet, so I will open the lid just now. I love the image on this. It's just so bright and cheerful. Disney puzzles are just always so much fun, and I really fancied just sinking my teeth into another Disney puzzle. So that is what I'm going to do. Now then, this is a lot of pieces. Oh, and you get a poster. Yes, I'm so glad you get a poster. Do you know 6,000 piece Clementoni puzzles don't come with posters, and it would be so much easier if they did, but this one does. So thankfully I can use this nice big box lid for my pieces, because there will be a lot of sorted pieces by the time I finish sorting. So moving that to one side. Oh my goodness, I've not even done anything yet and there's dust. So fairly typical Ravensburger in that sense. So, oh, and it's a really decent sized poster as well. Makes a nice change from that wildlife one, which is quite small. Oh, I love this image. It looks like it's gonna be so much fun. I love the way you've got like a painting within the painting, with Mickey here being the artist, and you've got just all these Disney characters in the frames and stuff, and oh, it's just such a nice image. So I'm not gonna go into too much detail about the pieces themselves. I've done enough Ravensburger puzzles on the channel really to know what they're like and what they're all about. It's obviously the same kind of rich blue sort of dark cardboard at the back, really nice and thick pieces, lots of good shapes, variety. I mean, I will open the bag in a second and I'll have a good rummage through the pieces, but thinking about the sorting, there's so much going on in this image that I think that sorting isn't going to be a problem. I think it's going to be pretty obvious as soon as I find a piece where it's going to go. I'll go through the sorting obviously once I've done it, but I think that there'll probably be quite a lot of sorted piles here, and it's going to be a really fun puzzle to put together without, you know, too much of one feature kind of dominating the whole image. And I just can't wait to get started on it. So I'm going to just crack this bag of pieces open. Okay, I'm going to do my non-traditional thing and actually cut the bag open. Normally I just tear it apart and it's all a bit haphazard, but I do have scissors beside me, so there's no reason why I can't just use scissors to open this bag of pieces. And once they're out of the bag, it always looks as though there's more than when they were in the bag. I guess it's because they're spread out. Come on. There you go. Oh, such a lot of dust with Ravensburger puzzles. Oh my, this is a huge pile of pieces. Oh, I was so excited about starting this puzzle, I kind of forgot about the reality of sorting 5,000 pieces. Oopsie daisy. And of course, the last puzzle I did, although it's part of a giant puzzle, the section was only 3,300 pieces. So this is like, oh no, what am I doing to myself? But they look amazing, these pieces. They look really lovely. The image looks amazing. And I'm so excited. Oh, I can't wait. Okay, so midway through sorting this puzzle, I found this. This is a prong off a puzzle piece. Now, I hadn't up to that point found any pieces with missing prongs, so I was a little worried, but I put it to one side and I thought I'll just finish the sorting and I'll see if I discover any, and I didn't. So I am hopeful that this has dropped into my puzzle at some point in the factory stages of manufacturing this puzzle, and it's from there or something else like that. So there was that. And the other thing I also wanted to mention was there was the usual high amount of puzzle dust, as with all the Ravensburger puzzles that I've ever done. So I just thought I'd put a quick picture up here of the puzzle dust as well. Okay, the sorting is done, thank goodness. Right, I'm just going to really briefly go through these piles. Largely I have sorted here by colour. Some of them aren't just colour, and so it's a little bit mixed up and haphazard, but I'll explain as best I can how I've attempted to sort these pieces. So we'll start with easy edges. They're all my edges, and I just put that bit to one side because I thought that was quite a sizable chunk to find ready built. So I pulled that out just to show you. There weren't too many like that, and mostly they tended to be bits attached to the edge. So that's why that's there. What I'm going to do is take these off and put them in the relevant pile, and I'll put the edges in there. And I don't tend to keep them together, I tend to take them apart. So unless it's a particularly difficult puzzle. Right, this pile here is really large, but I think it's pretty accurate. It's the Dalmatian pieces. They're mostly white. In some parts of the puzzle, the Dalmatians are in kind of a shady area, so they may be a little bit darker, but you can mostly tell what the Dalmatian pieces are. So that's a big pile, but I think it's pretty accurate. Probably be one of the ones I approach last. This is a bit more miscellaneous because this is just about colour, really. It's really dark pieces, either dark blue or black in some cases. Some of them are slightly lighter, but then maybe just a wee bit of a darker shade of blue than, say, Cinderella's dress or something, which is brighter and a bit more sparkly. So there's a bit of a mixture there, but that's kind of mostly what that is, just the kind of the dark colours. That's reds. So again, this will represent bits from all over the puzzle. There's a few items of clothing on different people that are red, on some of the ducks and one of the princes, I think, and there are some red collars on the Dalmatians, and so in some cases there's a bit of red in here, but you can kind of tell sometimes when it's a Dalmatian collar, so I have put that in there in that instance, but there might be a few in there as well. This one here is very miscellaneous. This one, it sort of started out, it was supposed to be human kind of skin and hair, which sounds really horrible, but, you know, like, so princesses, princes, any of the human kind of Disney characters that have got this kind of skin tone, and any like long hair or short hair or anything like that. But what this actually ended up becoming as well was bits of some of the ducks and some of Mickey. I have largely separated out animal pieces, but for some reason not ducks and Mickey, they sort of ended up in here. I don't really know quite how. Perhaps just a loss of concentration or something while I was sorting. But yeah, so that for the most part, that's the human characters, where it's really obviously hair or, you know, a face or something like that, or an eye. This is my miscellaneous pile, but mostly this pile is quite light coloured pieces, kind of beige coloured pieces or white pieces, really light blues in some cases. So it's a wee bit colour coded, but mostly that one's miscellaneous. So that's all of the ones over here. This one I'll come back to. We've got another few really big piles here. So again, this one's a big pile, but quite accurate. There's another little chunk there that I found together already. This is things like the wall, the balcony, the floor, anything where it looks kind of stony and all this sort of colour, like sort of beiges and dark browns. So that's that. Again, quite accurate, but a big pile. This is the pile I referred to earlier, where it's supposed to be mostly animal pieces. So I would imagine there'll be a lot of King Louis in here, Baloo the bear, little mice and birds and things like that. I think there will be some pieces of Pluto in here, but I think Pluto got a little bit divided between this one and the yellow pile. So again, it's a little bit of a mishmash in here, but this is supposed to be, for the most part, animal character pieces. This one, again, accurate but big picture frames. There are picture frames scattered all across this puzzle, and they're all pretty much the same kind of pattern. It reminds me a bit of the Disney Museum, but with less variety in the frames. So it's quite a big pile, not as big as that one, obviously, but there's quite a few pieces there. So that just leaves this box, and the reason they're all a bit crowded in here is because I'm actually going to have these pieces out on the table first, all at the same time. So I'm not too worried about them getting mixed up together. They will come out of this box pretty soon. I just put them in here for now for the purposes of just describing what they are. So these pieces are well, I'll start with these because these are specific. This is windows. You can just see the little crisscross where the little window panes are. So that's windows. That's pretty straightforward, nice and small. That's the Cheshire Cat. So they're obvious and nice and small, and they'll be pretty easy to put together, I would think. The others are yellow, pink, green, blue. Now, it's largely that, but it's slightly more detailed than that. A lot of these blue pieces are Cinderella's dress. A lot of these, well, the green pile is kind of, there's a bit more of a mixture. There's some background pieces and stuff in here, but there's quite a few pieces from Tiana and her green dress, and also Peter Pan and his green outfit and things like that. So I sort of, although it's green and it's a mixture of green things, I sort of know mostly what pieces are in there. The pinks, there's again a mixture, but largely Sleeping Beauty's dress is in there. So I've got princesses kind of represented here. That's Jasmine, and that is pretty accurate as well. There aren't really many that are this sort of light shade of green, kind of turquoisey green. So that's pretty accurate. I'm fairly certain that they're mostly just Jasmine. And then the other one that's more like the green in that it's a little larger is yellow. Now we've got Belle's dress in here, but I think that there's quite a lot of Pluto in here as well. There's a fair amount of yellow in this puzzle, so this one will be a bit more difficult. Having said that, when I come to do these pieces and I can spread them out a bit, it's going to be really easy to pick out a princess dress as opposed to something like Pluto, because the princess dresses are all sparkly. So that's why I'm going to start with these first, because I think that they're going to be quite easy to pick out and easy to put together, even with these larger piles. As long as I can spread them out and see what I have, I should be able to pick out the pieces pretty easily. So that's why these are together. And that's it. That's all the piles. So I don't think I've really made it very easy for myself. However, I'm still looking forward to doing it. I don't always like to do a puzzle super methodically and efficiently. I'm just gonna enjoy putting this, like letting this naturally and organically come together. But because I have sorted it this way, and there's gonna be a lot of bits of all the different parts of the puzzle coming together at the same time, because I'm gonna have a lot of pieces out at the same time, I've decided I'm going to just start with the board from the get-go. So it's not going to fit on this table, but usually what I do with larger puzzles that don't fit on the table is I start it on the table and then I move sections over to the board. I'm not going to do that this time. I'm going to just put the board straight on, and I'm going to build the edges, and then I'm going to build all these ones. From there, not certain, possibly reds after that, but I'll see. Depends on how the build goes with these, but that is my plan in the interim. So for now, all I need to do is clear the decks and put these in boxes and get the board out, and we will take it from there. princesses have been coming together really well. The blues came together really nicely on Cinderella's dress and the pinks on Aurora's. And they were pretty easy, those colours on Ariel's and over there on Jasmine's. We've got a little bit of all the colours on Snow White, so there's some blue there on her bodice, and then the skirt bit is yellow and got some red in the sleeves. So that bit's really coming together nicely. Now the yellows slowed me down quite a lot, and it's partially because there were so many of them, but not only that, Belle's standing right inside a picture frame, so the sections of her dress were coming together but all kind of separate, and it was a little bit confusing at times. But what I've done is I've mostly just focused on the princesses' dresses from that. One set of pieces I also found in that pile, I'm not really sure why I put them in there because it was slightly green in colour, but I also found a whole bunch of these pieces, and these are Dopey's jacket. So I've got a good bit of Dopey, one of the 7 dwarves, there as well, next to Snow White. So there have been other wee bits coming together. Oh, I forgot to mention as well, we had Pocahontas here. She's kind of yellow in colour, she goes up here. So, because there were so many of these yellows and they cover all sorts of different areas, I've just put those in a separate box of leftovers, I guess. They're the other leftovers that I cleared off the table earlier, which I will pull back in at some point, but I don't want it to be too much clutter. So I'm going to put those down there, and then I'm going to make a start on these green pieces. Now, we do still have a princess left. We've got Tiana, who is over beside Rapunzel up there. So I know she has quite a lot of pieces in here. There's more than likely going to be more of Dopey's jacket over there. I think we've got some kind of background trees and things going on in here, and also Peter Pan. So I think that, you know, this will pull together quite a lot of separate little bits as well, but this pile's not as big as the yellow pile, so I'm hopeful that it won't take too long. And then once that's done, I'm going to move over to these red pieces. And again, they'll be scattered around the puzzle, but hopefully I can fill in a few gaps with those little bits around here where there's red, and just, you know, scattered around the puzzle. So yeah, I'm pleased with it. I'm pleased with how it's coming together. I mean, it's very bitty at the moment. I've not that long been doing it, so it's not looking particularly full, but I do like having these big spaces, these big areas on the board to just spread the pieces out and really be able to see what I'm looking at. So anyway, I'm going to stop talking at that and I'm going to dive into these greens. partway through doing these animal pieces. I've been doing a little bit of extra sorting because it was quite a big pile of pieces and there's still a lot in there. But one of the problems I'm running across is that there are a lot of pieces that are all this kind of brown shade and, you know, like that and that. And I've sort of separated them, but I don't know for certain if I've got the right animals. So, like, there are a lot of animals that are all this kind of similar shade of brown. So you've got this little guy here, you've got a little deer there, you've got Bambi, even this guy's jacket, Pumbaa, King Louis, you've got Lady's ears here, even the beast's head, things like that. There's just a lot of animals that are all a really similar colour. There's another one there. So it's a little bit difficult at this stage separating out which goes with which animal. So I've largely ignored the brown pieces unless I can tell which animal it goes with. So, like, I have found a few of King Louis, mostly ones with his face on. These ones are ones that I think are like little rabbits and squirrels and stuff. And I can only really tell that because you maybe can see a little hand or an eye or something like that, or a little pink ear. But, you know, I could well be wrong even at that. That's a little pile of grey pieces that I think will largely be Dumbo and perhaps like a rabbit. So what I've done really is I've done a sort and I've kind of like whittled the pile down a bit. There's still a lot there. And I'm going to just put in any ones that I can. So I've got Archimedes there. He can go up at the top. I've got a few there of Bagheera, who's got quite big, thick whiskers. So they're kind of obvious. I've put a few together of Baloo. I think I've got some Car there, the snake. I've got, who else? Oh, I know those more yellowy coloured ones are Simba, I think. I also managed to find quite a few more of the small painting that Mickey's painting. So I'm just creating a pile of those because they were scattered all across piles. So I want to try and put that together soon as well. So that'll be a nice wee chunk of the puzzle come together. This little pile here is birds, little tiny birds, blue ones and purple ones and stuff. So I can make a start on it, but at this stage it's slowing down quite a lot because the piles are just much less distinct in terms of what I'm actually looking at, which part of the puzzle I'm looking at when I pick out a piece. But what I'm thinking I'll do is just make a start on this pile and then come back to it, and I might move over after this. After I've put as many of these pieces in as I can, I might move over to the frames, because the frames actually, although they're all just pretty much the same kind of frame, a lot of them do have detail on the inside of the frame, and I can actually, you know, hopefully pinpoint which frame it is from, you know, the details on either side. That looks like it might be part of Mickey. But anyway, I think I can probably whittle that pile down as well. So I'm sort of bitting and bobbing a little bit really across these two piles, but I'm going to try and do what I can with this first, and then I will come back to that one after. Right, so I've really done a good job with the yellow pieces, and in doing those I've managed to get a good bit of Pluto done and Simba and quite a lot of Lady from Lady and the Tramp here, which I had kind of a block of these yellows here. I didn't know what it was from, but it's the back of Lady there. And then I've got some of, not that bit there and there, which is Mickey's shoes. And I've also managed to fill out other wee bits, like this dwarf here. He's got kind of a yellow coat and hat. Some of this guy here, his coat's kind of yellow. And Dumbo's hat. Pretty much finished off Alice's hair up there and Donald Duck's beak. So it really has filled out quite a lot of stuff. Although whilst I was doing it, I did have a rummage through the frame pieces again and some of the leftovers. And I managed to get like some of the frame around here filled out a bit, which is kind of attached Bagheera and these bits here. And so it's all starting to kind of gel together a bit better now. And so because of that, and because I've sort of done quite well with the yellow pieces, I'm going to go back to the animal pieces and I'm going to shape sort them. Because what I did is I shape sorted the yellows and they just went in a lot more easily. And it was just, you know, easier to kind of put things together and see what I was working with. Plus, I've started to get together like Pumbaa here and King Louie here. And, you know, I can shape sort and probably quite easily get a few pieces in and fill these out and hopefully whittle those down a lot more. Maybe get this bit done here and King Louie done. Like, that's going to fill in a big chunk if I can do King Louie and Pumbaa and also Bambi. So, yeah, so I'll probably just grab a couple of pieces of paper. I'll show you the animal pieces that I've got left. And it's these ones here. So there's quite a few of them still, but I think if I just get some paper and I just do a bit of shape sorting with them and just use like shades of colour, like these dark browns versus these more yellowy colours, I think I should hopefully be able to get the animals filled out a bit more. So, but I just need to be a bit more organised with it. So I'm going to get some paper out and I'm going to start to organise these pieces and hopefully I can really get a good chunk of the middle of this puzzle filled out then. So that's what I am doing just now. Right, so that's me, roughly around about halfway through now, perhaps just a little bit over halfway through this puzzle, and I have loved it. It's just been so much fun, as I knew it would be. All the Disney puzzles I've ever done have been really, really good fun, and I've just loved putting it together so far. I must admit, I'm really, really glad that I actually started this one on the board from the start. I mean, I did the sorting on the table, but then I just got the board out and I just got started on this puzzle, putting it together. It's been really handy actually, because it's such a big puzzle and it's all 5,000 pieces. It's not divided into smaller bags. It's just given me the space I need, really, just to kind of spread the pieces out and maybe have lots of different piles of pieces out, which has just really helped the whole process of putting it together. Thankfully, so far, I have not found a piece with a missing prong. You'll remember at the start when I was sorting, I found a little prong that had snapped off a piece, and I said that I'd not discovered any with missing prongs in the sort, but it's possible, you know, I sort pretty quickly, just chucking them in piles and stuff, so it's possible I might have missed it. But so far, you know, I've put over half of these pieces in and I haven't found any yet, and I've gone through the piles quite a lot as well. I've not found any in there either, so I'm keeping my fingers crossed that that prong does not belong to this puzzle and that this puzzle is whole and complete and without any broken bits. Overall, I've found the build to be quite bitty. There's been a lot of floaty areas, and I think one of the things that's contributed to that has been the fact that a lot of the characters that are standing inside frames, or they're holding frames up kind of in front of their faces. So when I've been putting things together, like Belle's dress, for example, that's come together sort of in little pieces where I've not been able to kind of gel it together. So it's starting to gel together now, and I don't have as many floaty bits, but that's been a little bit awkward trying to kind of roughly put things in place where they're supposed to go, and it's meant that I have been digging in and out of the frames pile of pieces just to try and just kind of get things stuck together a little bit more. But I think, you know, also the way that I've sorted this puzzle, the fact that I've done it in mostly kind of colour categories, that's made it a little bit bitty as well, because I've just been putting together parts of the puzzle from kind of all over, top, bottom, and left and right and middle and all of that. So it was kind of a floaty, bitty process at first, but it really is satisfying to see it coming together now and starting to gel together, and I can fill out a lot of these gaps now as I whittle down the pieces. So I think really just coming into the next part of this, I have kind of mostly done the animal pieces. I've got a lot of leftovers, so I'll be filling in gaps and things in part 2 of this puzzle. But, you know, I'll be working on all of this background in the next part, all these balconies and stairs and the brick wall in the background. I've also got a good few of the animals still to do. We've got these down here, some of the smaller ones at the bottom. Need to fill out Lady and the Tramp a little bit more, and I've got all these frames as well to finish off around them. And of course, there's a large gap I've got at the bottom here where the Dalmatians are. That will definitely be the last pile that I tackle. It's a big pile of pieces, so I'm a little bit nervous about the Dalmatians, but I just think that once they're done, this is just going to be a fab image. I'm really, really looking forward to part 2 of this. So that's what will be coming up next. In terms of timings and things like that, I don't know how long I've spent on it so far. Feels like it came together pretty quickly. A few bits that slowed me down, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to work all that out at the end using my time-lapse footage and just try and figure out a rough time that it took me to build this puzzle. But I will give you that in part 2 of the puzzle. So no idea how long I've spent on it so far, but I will let you know. But other than that, it's just a case of cracking on with it and finishing the build off now. So I'm going to leave the video there just now. I really hope you've enjoyed part 1 of it as much as I have. If you have enjoyed it, then please do leave a like on the video and give me any comments you've got, if you've got any questions about the puzzle, or, you know, if you just want to make any general comments, then please do leave a comment below and I'll endeavour to reply to those. And in the meantime, I will say thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!